to CiNEMACHiNE. I'm Al, and I'm here with Brandon. Hey, Brandon.
Oi.
There we go. And hey, Ryan, how you doing?
Howdy, doing good.
All right, good. Now, what have you guys been up to this week? We've all been, watching our own stuff in our solitary confinement or whatever we want to call it, our social distancing or whatever. Brandon, what have you been watching since we last spoke?
Well, I rewatched Jurassic Park again. I had watched it a few weeks ago. Well, I guess probably a month at this point with my daughter. Went through and watched all the Jurassic movies, but my nephews spent the night this past weekend, and Luna wanted to show them Jurassic Park. So we watched Jurassic Park with them. They're
Proud Papa.
3 and no, maybe they're 4 and 6, I think, is their ages. I don't know how old they are. Somewhere in that vicinity.
Shout out.
They won't hear this. But anyway, I showed that to them. That was really fun to watch because they're really into like wanting to watch, like, what's the scariest movie you've ever seen, Obi? That's what they call me. Anyway, so they're into scary movies, but they haven't watched like really scary movies yet. So yeah, we watched Jurassic Park, so that was good. Good to return to that again. Still holds up. It's interesting watching it like through younger kids' eyes, especially like this generation of kids that are like
desensitized to everything.
Well, not necessarily desensitized, but like their attention span is like very limited.
Yeah.
With, technology and everything being at their fingertips, like watching Jurassic Park. And I was a little worried about it, watching it with them, because Luna is she's pretty like accustomed to watching movies and sitting still. I've kind of raised her like watching movies and making sure like she can, sit through like boring parts to a kid. Jurassic Park doesn't really get going until like an hour into the movie. So as far as like the action or whatever, it's going to hold a kid's attention. So,
did you guys watch in the theater?
Yeah, we did. Max, the oldest, I think he's 7. He fell asleep about 40 minutes into it, and then he woke up like right at the T-Rex scene, and then he was like,
"That'll do it,"
hooked. And then he was like wide awake at that point.
Now, did anybody get scared watching Jurassic Park?
Max was scared. Slate was scared, but Slate's like, he's it was like a good scare. Like they weren't like cut it off type scared. It was just like, they were like kind of like wincing and, reacting.
I've noticed kids nowadays get a little more frightened than I remember, because I remember vividly watching Jurassic Park. I mean, yeah, I was older than that, but I mean, for crying out loud, I mean, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I don't think much scared me when I was a kid. My mom was pretty open to us watching most things when I was a kid, but I just don't remember being scared by much. There was one movie in particular that got me, but my mom makes fun of me for it, but it was totally stupid, but it was more realistic than I didn't believe dinosaurs were going to come into my house is what I'm saying. So it was easy for me not to be scared.
Yeah.
I think having the kid element in there, like Lex and Tim, adds to like the kids, relating to it and, them putting themselves in that kind of situation.
So after rewatching,
like Max was like, do dinosaurs exist in this world? Like, did they not die out? And I'm like, no, well, they kind of, this is the same world that we live in. They just figured out a way to bring them back and create them again.
Time for a trip to the alligator exhibit.
Yeah. If you didn't fall asleep, they would have told you all that. Just saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was cool. The other thing that we've been watching, Melissa and I like got on a Danny McBride, like, I guess just a binge of Danny McBride TV. We watched Righteous Gemstones. She was like super into that, and so then we went and watched Vice Principals, and now we're watching Eastbound and Down. So we're just binging through all the Danny McBride HBO shows, and I hadn't watched Eastbound and Down since it had aired, I don't know, 10 years ago, I guess. I don't know how long it's been.
It's crazy it's been that long.
Yep. That's good. I mean, it's funny. It's, we're on the 3rd season now. It's like set in Myrtle Beach, which is, a redneck favorite visit for us down here in the South. So seeing a lot of those locations is pretty funny.
Sorry to all of our Myrtle Beach listeners.
They know what it is.
I went to Myrtle Beach for the first time in my whole entire life a few months ago. And I honestly, from my understanding, I honestly think the beach, it's a really long beach, number one, like over 30 miles. But I think that it's split up into 2 halves because Brandon warned me of that before I went. And I was like looking for it. And I saw some beach, basic, Southern beach, I guess, tropes, if you want to call them, since we're on a movie podcast. Yeah. But I saw some cool stuff too. I didn't see too much of the redneckedness. So anyway,
they play it up a little bit because
I'm sure. I did see rebel flags everywhere. I will say that. I did see that.
I mean, that's
the South.
It's even his like boogie board is like a rebel flag with a pot leaf on it.
Nice. Isn't he from North Carolina? Isn't that where he's from?
Danny McBride?
Yeah.
I think so. I think he went to college in Statesboro, Georgia.
Because I think that's where they made Foot Fistway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So, well, Ryan, what have you been watching, my friend?
So I guess on Saturday we watched Hustlers. The
J-Lo
movie? J-Lo and all these other music people that I have no idea who they were that Katie could recognize.
You watched this with your wife?
And solely off of just online, the reviews you've seen online that have said it's good. And it was not good.
Yeah.
I had not even seen like a trailer for it going into it. I just bought it.
It wasn't deserving of being Oscar nominated because I heard so much talk about J-Lo needing an Oscar nomination for it.
No, not quite.
No.
Yeah,
it's too bad.
Golden Globes.
Who was the sidekick girl in that? The Asian girl in that movie. She got a lot of praise.
She's from the Crazy Rich Asians.
Okay, I didn't see that either.
So
yeah, I haven't seen a
that
lot
one.
of
Those are books that.
It's is it Aquafina?
No.
She's but
no.
It was.
I felt like part of this podcast.
It was just one of those where we were watching it. We just like kept looking at each other like, is this going to get better or do we turn this off?
You're the only people that walked out of your own living room during that movie. Well, did you watch anything to?
Katie for like half the movie. Katie's like, Brian, close your eyes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people. I think a lot of the dollars went into that for one particular reason, and it has a lot to do with J-Lo. I personally didn't watch it. I don't.
I'm sure her and like all there are tons of famous like female rappers in it and stuff too. It was just one of those where like.
Oh yeah, Cardi B's in that.
You see like you watch commercials now like for the Super Bowl and people pay for star power, but they don't pay for writing, and it's just like what?
So here's the best part about this. Didn't you purchase this movie?
I did. It was used though, $6.
Wow.
Yeah. There's some every once in a while I buy one that I haven't seen, and I'm just like, I may have to find a way to get rid of that one, even though it was $5.
Yeah,
just can't have it on my wall.
Coasters.
I got you.
It is a coaster.
Did you watch anything else to redeem your viewing?
Yeah, so we watched last night. Actually, we watched The Invisible Man. Have you guys seen that one yet?
No.
Want to?
It is totally worth it. It's for me. It was kind of tale of two halves, but the first half of it is.
It's kind of what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first half.
Yeah.
Second half, not so much.
It's not bad. It just doesn't live up to the first half, in my opinion.
I like Lee Whannell.
Uber, do I?
I was just saying, I like Lee Whannell, the director. That's my.
There's some awesome camera work in that movie, like misdirection and that kind of thing.
I think it's like a $7 million movie.
Yeah,
budget was
it's a Blumhouse movie, right?
120 or 150.
That was like one of the last movies that was in theaters.
I drove past the movie theater the other day, and I was like, just wanting to see if they had any signage, like we're going to open on this day or anything.
Please.
just went up and hugged the door. Please let me in. Tried to smell popcorn through the door crack or something, And
stale popcorn? Is that what that is?
Seriously, driving past the movie theater felt like I was like, whenever in a zombie movie, everybody huddles up, like in Shaun of the Dead, they huddle up in the bar and they gather all their, weapons and everything. They try to make their plan. It felt like that's what the movie theater was. Because it was so just sad. All the posters were super old. 6-7 months old, which in the movie world, that's super old nowadays. But yeah, it was just I think, what's the Ben Affleck movie where he's the alcoholic basketball coach?
The Way Back.
Yeah, so that was the poster up, coming soon or something like that. I was like, oh man, this is so strange. So
I think I sent it to you. Did you guys see that video of the dude, the theater owner, smashing the Mulan?
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah,
that was funny. Well,
that's a good seg. Well, I can't because you haven't talked yet. Dang it.
You're still messing
almost had
up.
a good one. I'm going to get some water while Al talks because I don't have nothing to add.
Okay.
But that one was definitely worth checking out. I'm actually interested in. You'll probably like this, Al. I am interested in going back and checking out the old one.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you seen the old one?
The Invisible Man? Yeah. I mean, part of the Universal monster. It's they've done it quite a few times. They've done comedy versions. They'll call it something else. So they've you got the original, of course, that they put into the vault of Universal monsters. But I mean, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of the Universal monsters, not because I dislike them or anything. It's just nothing that ever grasped me. But yeah. I mean, I'm interested. I like with Lee Whannell Upgrade. I mean, come on now. So I mean, that movie was fantastic. So, I'm interested in seeing it and seeing what he did with it because I don't know what the script was like. I don't know if he had anything to do with the script or anything, but he's a very capable movie maker. So I'm pretty excited. Yeah,
there were some. And I won't spoil it for you. There were some inconsistencies that kind of grated against me as I went through it. But
I keep hearing the restaurant scene. It's like what everybody talks about and I don't know what that means. But
yeah.
So
pretty crazy.
I think that movie highly, highly benefited from coming out when it came out right before everybody got on lockdown, and then it became one of the watch it at home and everybody was like, oh my God. I honestly think that, and good for him, good for everybody involved. But I know she's a good actress and everything, but I just have no interest in watching her on screen ever. I think she's like watching cardboard to me. So she's a great actress, but I don't know.
Yeah. I watched the first season of Handmaid's Tale. I didn't watch any more of it, but I thought she was good in that. I've seen her in a couple other things here and there that I've not liked her in at all. Just kind of stale. But she was good in this. Yeah, she's serviceable. The movie is very, very intense.
Yeah, and that's another thing is that I tend to watch more intense, odd things, and so what would you consider it like? Intense for the common audience, or would you say it's intense for folks that kind of stray away from the common box office?
Well, it's definitely, I can definitely see it being intense for a common audience.
Okay. Is it jump scares or
the thing is though, it's not a ton of jump scares.
That's good.
It's more like any sudden anything in it that's intended to kind of jolt you is more like shock than like,
okay.
Like, it actually reminded me a lot of, there were at times in the first half, it reminded me a lot of Paranormal Activity. Like
the first one?
The scene where like in Paranormal Activity where they've got the first one, the only one that I've seen, but
I don't know if you had the quadrilogy.
No. When you can make a movie for $15,000, they'll let you try it as many times as you want.
Yeah.
The scene where she pulls the bed sheet gets pulled off of like that kind of stuff. There's a lot of that kind of stuff where you're just like, oh snap.
Okay, yeah, just so it's suspenseful.
Like it's a lot of practical effects, like
for sure,
which is kind of what's great about Lee Wynell. It's one of those things where he's so used to making low budget movies, you have to be very creative in how you pull off certain things. So,
and it looks great for the budget.
Yeah,
I was shocked when I looked that up.
I watched an interview with for crying out loud, what's his name? Something Blum, the guy that owns Blumhouse.
Jason Blum.
Yeah, Jason Blum. Watched an interview with him, and he was kind of chatting about their just method of madness and things like their whole entire MO, and it's pretty interesting. I hate that I don't gravitate towards more of their movies. I'm not a horror guy because I find a bunch of it campy and silly, but it's just not scary to me. Jump scares don't do it for me and things like that. So not to say everybody shouldn't go watch that if that's what they like, but I do like their model. I like their model a whole lot. So I find it very interesting. And so I hope that, and they've made stuff outside of the horror genre. They've made a bunch of, not a bunch, but quite a few relatively good movies.
I wouldn't consider like Upgrade horror. I mean,
it's not. Sci-fi. It's not, but but they tend to stay in that lane, is what I'm saying.
Ryan, I would, since you got it on Blu-ray, I would recommend listen. I just looked it up, but Lee Wynell has a commentary track on it. I listened to his commentary track for Upgrade, and it was really good. Cool. It just gives you a lot of insight into the creation, and he's really entertaining.
I think you should listen to the Lee Wynell commentary while watching Hustlers and see if that does anything for you. See if that makes that movie better. So, talking about Hustlers, hard. You can only go up. Talking about Hustlers, I watched a bunch of junk, and I'm just going to kind of lump it all into one. I watched.
We're kind of all in the same vein.
Yeah, I watched.
We always assume that's what you watch.
Yeah, I watched a bunch of junk on purpose because I love Quentin Tarantino, and I like Robert Rodriguez a lot, especially in his early career. So I watched the Grindhouse, double feature, and I had never seen it before. I'd always skipped it because I don't know, it just didn't grab me and make me want to watch it. I have both of you seen that? I know Brandon, you've seen it, right?
It's been a while. Like I saw it right when it came out. So
okay.
And that's the last time I saw it.
So
either of them.
So I watched both of those, and I also watched Cobra with Sylvester Stallone and March for Death with Steven Seagal.
Cobra is always going to be one of the best movie posters ever, just because it's like, right. When you're walking through Blockbuster and you see a case every once in a while where you're like, this looks awesome.
What's funny, Al, is I was on a walk today and I was listening to a weekly podcast I listen to, The Beer and the Bald, Paul Sherry's podcast, and he watched Cobra this week and was talking about Cobra.
Yeah, so we watched it together. Funny. We're good friends. Yeah, we're buddies. We have a podcast of our own, The Bald and the Ginger. And
well, he's Al actually has a comic book podcast.
You don't even know. He's the beard, not the bald.
No, well, he is bald though, right?
No.
Paul Scheer?
Paul Sherry.
I thought you said Paul Scheer. Sorry.
Paul Sherry. I don't know. He's a Joe Blow. Well, he was a Joe Blow.
I thought you were talking about the actor.
Got a lot of hair.
So anyway, yeah. So I want to focus on the Grindhouse, but I wanted to tell you I watched Trash because I just didn't. I was so sick and tired of all the stuff that's going on, locked in the house and things like that. I just wanted to watch Trash, and I find the Steven Seagal movies completely hilarious. They are hilarious.
I'm right there.
Doesn't your dad love Steven Seagal stuff, Ryan?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Those are like those are.
And he moves his arm like that when he runs. He moves his arm like that. It's so strange.
Those are some of the first rated R movies I ever saw, were Steven Seagal movies. Like half of his movies too. He's works some obscure, like he's a chef, and then they find out, oh my gosh, he's a Purple Heart, ex-Navy SEAL.
He's always
Navy SEAL.
But I just found it so funny. But the Grindhouse, I really, really enjoyed, for the most part, not every ounce of it, but I really enjoyed the Quentin Tarantino Death Proof. I really enjoyed that. Kurt Russell, the more I watch him, I've seen him all throughout my life in movies, but the more I actually pay attention to Kurt Russell and the more Quentin Tarantino puts him in things, I love Kurt Russell more and more. He is the quintessential actor. He's got the look, the voice. I mean, he just has the glimmer.
When I was watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I loved it was so short, the scenes that he was in.
Yeah.
But I loved those
scenes. He steals the show when he's on screen, and he's got the most glorious head of hair I've ever seen in my life. It's ridiculous. So, and I mean, he's got that life that you think a movie star should have, married or not married, but, been with the starlet from back in the day, Goldie Hawn. And I mean, just everything. And everybody says he's a great guy and everything. So anyway, I watched that, and then I watched Planet Terror, and it reminded me so much of From Dusk Till Dawn, where they kind of split the directing duties on that. And you can tell where Robert Rodriguez took over, and it's just the lead actor's garbage. Now, I will say this. Rose McGowan, I did not realize that she jumps off the screen, too. She's not like the greatest actress in the world, but she just has.
What else is she in?
Well, she's the first time I ever saw her was in the original Scream movie back in the day.
Okay, yeah.
But she was also in some TV show with Lisa Milano and Charmed.
Was it Jawbreakers, like a movie she was in?
Yeah, she was in that.
I remember Scream.
Yeah, and so, but she jumps off the screen. She's got like the
dated Marilyn Manson. That's like another big.
Yeah, she also dated Robert Rodriguez as well, and I think that was around the time, if I'm not mistaken. I think he ended up leaving his wife for her. But anyway. I enjoyed watching her in the first Death. She was in both movies, in different characters, but in Death Proof she was in there just a little bit. And in man, there's such a brutal scene in that movie where Kurt Russell slams on brakes. That's all I'm going to say. And holy handbags, that movie is brutal. But it's like, I mean, it's just so jarring, and you forget how good Quentin Tarantino really is at storytelling. And anytime somebody gives him an issue about, like, they try to give him an issue about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, about Margot Robbie not having enough lines and stuff, they need to reference back to his movies, because he puts these crazy, powerful women in his movies. It's ridiculous, and it's just crazy. I just thought it was really interesting to watch. I don't know if it'll be at the top of my heap. It'll probably be close to the bottom of the Tarantino collection, but yeah, but I just watched a bunch of junk and a bunch of fast food movies. I think Tarantino's a little higher than that.
Can I add something about Cobra that I heard this morning on that podcast that I didn't know? Maybe
no, Brandon, you can't.
Maybe you already know.
On.
It's Sylvester Stallone's version of Beverly Hills Cop.
There you go. That's what I was going to say. Yep.
Yeah, I've only told you that 1,400 times. Yeah, so yeah, I watched Beverly Hills Cop, and I watched it with the commentary. and they said that Sylvester Stallone was originally supposed to be in Beverly Hills Cop, and then he kept changing the script. And they were like, yeah, this isn't the direction. So they had like one day.
The rewrites now.
They had one day to go make everything right. And they went and got Eddie Murphy, talked him into it. He came out and, stole the show. So that's ultimately what made me go and grab Cobra. I bought that, and it was $6 too. I think it was a better buy than Hustlers, but I'm just saying.
Was that Criterion?
No, it was more of an A24 release.
I think I got it.
Speaking of Criterion, we were watching Eastbound and Down last night, and he gets a copy of Friends, like season 7 or something, and gives it to somebody as like to watch his kid or something. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's a Criterion edition or something.
So for everybody that doesn't know, I love the Criterion collection. I love the Criterion channel. I like to discover
everybody that doesn't know is everybody. This is our first episode.
So anyway, but yeah, I will say this. Bridget, what was her name? The tall blonde
Nielsen.
The Bridget Nielsen. Yeah. She was in Cobra, and that's the movie where Sylvester Stallone ended up having an affair with her and leaving his wife, and then he married her, and I think they were only married for like a year. She went crazy. Jeez. He went crazy. Yeah,
it's like Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a cesspool. So thank God they put out good movies. Anyway, so that's what I watched. That's what we all watched, and we're going to be right back with some news. All right, we're back, and Brandon is going to share some news with us right now.
Yep. So this is going to be a sad one, guys. It's going to be pretty sad. We know we're all big physical media, consumers. This week, Disney announced that they are no longer going to be putting out physical media for basically. They're exclusively only going to put out like their own Disney animated stuff, Pixar, Star Wars, and Marvel stuff. So like even from what I understand, like even the Fox stuff that they own now, they're not putting out physical media for.
Wait, physical at all or 4K?
At all.
Really?
I read they weren't going to do 4K.
Well, it said 4K physical media. Now, yeah, that's true. But you would think...
Fake news! Fake news!
You don't mean it.
I mean, maybe they will do Blu-ray, and DVD is still a thing for some reason. But
we can talk about that another time.
Oh my God! I'm sorry, guys. We thought we were bringing you honest news. So.
Okay, well that's what I got. All right.
So I look at this as I'm okay if they don't do the 4K thing. I get it. They don't want to put out another, but what that does mean is that they're getting ready to kind of they're starting to VHS things where they just kind of eventually get rid of stuff. So that it seems like the beginning of the end.
Buy your copies now. But they start changing everything.
Criterion's going to have a whole lot of stuff to release pretty soon. So, Home Alone, Criterion. So,
it's kind of, it's just, it's with them owning Fox. It's like, well, that's a huge catalog of movies that if they're not going to be putting out. Who knows how they're going to treat the Fox, like banner, going forward. But I don't know.
Well,
you think about you would have to imagine like James Cameron's going to put the newer Avatar movies on there because that doesn't fold into. Maybe it will fold into Disney.
When are those coming out again?
Who knows?
Never.
They're filming them now.
Kind of at his house in quarantine.
I've got a pool out back.
So, this is why I like the boutique shops like Arrow and Shout Factory, Criterion, folks like that. This is why I like those kind of guys, because they're about to release a brand new version of Mallrats.
Yeah, but
and they put cool things on there, so it's cool.
I mean, I agree with you. I think it's cool, but they seemingly wouldn't have access to this catalog unless they somehow do a partnership.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing about I know that Disney is very strong in their abilities, but if they're not gonna be able to put everything on Disney Plus. So therefore, if they don't put it out in some kind of physical format or allow other people to stream it, from the Fox library,
at some point, it'll kind of turn into their licensing model. I mean, once everything goes digital, you got to imagine they'll, if there's companies out there that are.
VHS is starting to do that thing like vinyl did. People are starting to want VHS again. I don't understand it at all. It was, sure, it's nostalgic and stuff, but it's not even the people that actually lived through that era are not the ones that want it back.
There's a huge run on race car rewinders right now.
Yeah. My grandparents had one of those. So anyway, Brandon, I hope they don't do it, but yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that was an official announcement, but I think it was like something that was brought up on a podcast.
It's all moving. I mean, it's all moving that way. We know it is slowly, but surely,
That's why I enjoy the Criterion while I can.
I mean, I know that for people like Ryan that live in, more, metropolitan type cities that have good internet speed, like the streaming thing is not as big of a deal. But for me and yourself, you can't stream 4K out here. And so we pretty much rely heavily on physical media. And I just don't like the idea of owning things exclusively digitally because,
they can change it.
Yeah, they can change it. You can lose it. Like if if a company goes out of business and you bought, what
was that?
Movies,
what was that? Ultraviolet, or whatever one of those?
Well, I mean, sometimes Ultraviolet got bought out. They merged over into Voodoo or whatever it was.
But if you think even when Apple started doing their, where you could buy movies online, I don't use the Apple library for anything now, so all those purchases are kaput. I mean, some of them transferred over with Movies Anywhere, but some of them did not.
And that's the thing about
things fall through the cracks.
Movies Anywhere, everything doesn't go to every single app. I appreciate what Movies Anywhere allows, but I hope that soon. But I am very nervous that if they're going to go in and change silly things like E.T., the walkie-talkies instead of guns and things like that, what else are they going to change? What else is going to become, faux pas, and they're going to go in and change it? So, I mean, that's why I like...
look at the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I mean...
Every other
They changed them again. They changed them again for Disney+. Plus.
Did they really?
Yeah.
McClunky!
So...
Speaking of Disney...
No, boy.
Move on to the next one.
Oh, my gosh.
Milan is going to Disney Plus now instead of theaters. Speaking of, earlier I was wanting to seg when you were talking about theater owners smashing Milan display.
It's not a seg if you say
do a
it's
quick
a
cut.
seg.
Quick cut to Ryan saying that. Okay, speaking of,
I'll make sure you mark this time down.
It's in my head.
But no, Milan's skipping theaters and coming to Disney Plus on September 4th. Now, it's not coming to Disney Plus the same way that Onward came to Disney Plus, which was just included with your subscription.
You got to pay
this
$20.
one. You have to be subscribed, so you're $8 or whatever it is a month, and it's $30 to own it. Basically. So you pay $30.
I mean, what do you guys? So, Brandon, can you see it is that something that Luna's friends would spring for?
I'm not. Would spring for.
This again because I'm a physical media, kind of pusher. I think
but
it doesn't
Luna's
appeal to me.
Not you.
They're
Yeah, if their friends' parents
6 years old and they can't purchase anything.
You know what I mean? Like their parents.
Luna did a good job of purchasing something.
For families that don't care much about the theatrical experience, I mean, there's not one right now, obviously, but $30 is a deal compared to having to pay, $10, $12 a person to go to the theater and buy popcorn or whatever. It's expensive to take kids to the movies, depending on how many kids you have, especially. Around here, people have a lot. And so $30 is pretty cheap, especially when it's $30 and you own it as long as you keep your Disney Plus subscription.
Sure.
But that's another thing. It's like,
that's stupid. Like, why don't you own it outright?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's highway robbery.
So I thought it was just a rental. Like, I didn't know that it was like you own it for Disney.
You'll have it as long as your subscription is. Gotcha. I mean, it's not like, because other VOD titles up until now, like Invisible Man and Onward before it hit Disney Plus, those were all like $20 rental, 48-hour period, $20. That was it. So I mean, $30 you get to keep it as.
I guess that's what I was expecting.
It's not
I kind of saw
terrible,
it just as a sub for going to the theater where you don't have it when you walk out. But
well, you got to think about it. Most people aren't like us either. Watching movies multiple times. So
it's true.
Yeah, but kids do. But the thing about Mulan, though,
I'm saying people won't care if their digital version expires. They'll probably even forget they own it.
I just don't see. I mean, me personally, I just don't see kids gravitating towards this version of Mulan.
I don't care to see it, period.
I think the animated version resonates with kids. They have songs. You got, Mushu, like, it's like, it's got a fantastical comedy element to it. There's no songs. It doesn't seem, I mean, it has fantastical elements, but it seems super serious. I'm not saying it doesn't look good. It looks well made, but
this is one of those scenarios for Disney where like all these movies that they're creating live action versions of the cartoons, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't, because if you do Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and you copy it verbatim, people are like, I've seen this movie before.
I can just watch the animated version.
Right. But if you change it
too much,
yeah. I mean,
well, I think
point is just don't make them, but
don't make them, period. Matter. Just stop. Like, I mean, the Pete's Dragon.
Just stop.
The Pete's Dragon, it was a well-made movie, but I grew up.
I liked it.
I grew up. Yeah, I liked the movie just fine, but I grew up on the original where, Elliot was like this cartoon. I mean, it's terrible to watch. You totally don't think there's a cartoon dragon next to him, but the songs and it's hokey and it's more child friendly and stuff like that. I'd much rather watch that one personally. But I don't know. I never was, and God forbid, I know I'm going to be raked across the coals for this. I was never a Lion King fan, so I didn't care about that.
What?
I know.
Well,
and Aladdin, I don't know. I have no interest. I don't like Will Smith, so I have no interest in seeing that.
I skipped that one after Brandon's review.
I didn't even hear Brandon's review.
I mean, they've all just kind of been, fine to me. Like all those live action ones.
Yeah.
The Cinderella one was probably the best one out of all of them to me.
And that was kind of like the first toe in the water, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, in this era,
yeah.
They had like Alice in Wonderland, but
those are bad. Those were really bad. But I can't. It's funny. I have the Disney Plus because I have. It comes with my phone service, so I get it for free.
That's what I did too.
And I never turn it on. And the only thing I'm even thinking about turning it on for is Rocketeer. I really want to watch Rocketeer, but I think I just want to buy Rocketeer.
It's literally just Mandalorian for me.
I watched that. I did watch that. But
I got a kid, so we watch it some, but
we get it. Just kidding. She's a good kid. But no, I
thank you.
I didn't want everybody to think I really hated your kid. I won't show my true colors. So, But no, I'm just kind of tired of remakes in general, and like, I mean, I think they're just out of ideas, and they know that people know that name, like RoboCop, Ghostbusters, the list goes on and on. I just think in general, we need some new people to go in Hollywood with some artistic ideas. I mean, most of the people that wrote all the stuff that everybody's remaking now actually had the pedigree, like, of story and things of that nature. So it just kind of aggravates me.
I would agree with you, but we're about to go down a huge wormhole. We're just gonna start going like, oh, the oldies versus new school deal, like we did on the last test episode.
Oh, no, yeah, no, I don't want to go down. I'm just saying in general, just remakes in general. I think
sure, I get you.
That it's like a cover song. Some people can make a cover song their own, but it's really hard to believe a 14-year-old girl try to sing a blues song and put all the same emotions that the blues artist put in. You know what I mean? So
sure.
It's just not as believable.
That's true, but sometimes those cover songs, kind of rejuvenate those older versions and get people to like rediscover them. So
on occasion, but I mean, most songs are sampled now anyway. So I mean, on occasion, but there are the exceptions to the rule, of course.
I think it's time for a fake commercial. What do you guys think?
All right, so we're gonna be right back. Thanks for the news, Brandon.
Yep. Here's from our sponsor, MeUndies.
Thanks for your half truths. So we'll be right back to review Jojo Rabbit. All right, guys, we are back, and we are going to be reviewing Jojo Rabbit. Now, whenever we review
Jojo Rabbit,
whenever we review here on CiNEMACHiNE, we like to tell how we watched it, the circumstances around how we watched it. So, Ryan, you just recently saw Jojo Rabbit, right?
I did. We watched it end of last week, I guess.
Yeah.
And just I've got kind of a little theater area in the den that's kind of its own corner. And I just watched it there with my wife.
I don't think any of us saw it in theaters, right?
I did not.
It came out in like November 2019.
Did not.
Yeah, it was.
Al, you and I watched it together at home, at my house, at our home, our humble home together where we live.
Yeah, we're just in two separate rooms right now. I am Melissa.
You look so different from earlier.
Yeah. I was in my pajamas. So no,
we red boxed it, you and I.
Yes. Yes, we did. And I enjoyed it. I don't think we need to tell everybody you're set up. I mean, Brandon's got a theater in his house, but
we get it.
Al keeps bringing it up. I'm not the one bringing it up.
I'm just saying, okay? This is how we watch movies.
Your eyes.
So technically we did see it in theaters. We just saw it in your theater. So, yeah. So just your initial, 100 character thought. What was your initial, tweet, so to speak, of how you would review this movie? And then we'll get into the nitty gritty of it. Brandon?
I really liked it. The second viewing, I liked it even more. Probably loved it, I guess.
You're out of characters.
Bumped me over.
Ryan?
I also loved it. I need to see it a second time. But I thought it was awesome how they weaved the humor and
you're out of characters. Thank you. It was good. Hashtag
you're out of characters.
So yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Thought it was well made.
It's very sweet.
It is. And so do we need to give a spoiler warning before we go into this, or do we just want to give it at the front? Okay.
If you listen to podcasts about movies and hope that they don't spoil it, I don't understand you.
I think this is enough of a spoiler warning.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about it through and through. So if you have not seen it, I highly suggest you stop this and watch it first, and then come back and listen to us and let us tell you your opinion of the movie.
And why it's wrong.
Yeah. Let us tell you why our opinion is better than your opinion, because we have microphones. So I thought it was, I think Taika Waititi, I think he is still getting his as good a filmmaker as he is. I think he's still kind of earning his stripes, so to speak, because it wasn't too long ago that Hunt for the Wilder People was just being discovered by a lot of people, and that's whenever he kind of turned from, people didn't, he wasn't a household name yet, so to speak, Sure. So but I think he's still earning his stripes, but I think he's a darn good filmmaker. What do you guys think about that?
I agree. I mean,
yeah.
I think the first thing that I watched of his was What We Do in the Shadows.
We watched that.
That was
together.
before Wilder People, right?
Yeah, we watched that together at your old house.
Yeah.
Honestly, first thing I saw was Ragnarok that he had done.
That's Kate Cast talk. So I'm just kidding.
Just being honest.
Well, I mean, but was he involved with Flight of the Conchords at all?
I want to say that he did direct some episodes. I'm not positive.
Because I know he's tight with those guys.
Yeah.
So, and because Jermaine was in.
As was the other guy too.
The manager.
Their manager. Yeah, I can't think of his name. Reese Darby or something. I can't remember his name.
Sounds about right. But I think that he's really good. I think he's a very likable guy. And I think that he's going to continue to grow. And now he's doing like Mandalorian and, Star Wars stuff and things like that. So and he's got another Thor movie coming out. So his star is rising for sure. But let's focus on Jojo Rabbit for right now. I'm just going to tell you some of the stats of Jojo Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit had an estimated budget of $14 million, which is a fairly high budget.
For the you think, though, for the set design and stuff they had?
No. I'm saying he did a lot with that budget, but I'm saying it's a pretty – I mean, we were talking about Lee Wanell earlier.
Right. With
half that. And he did a lot with that budget, especially doing a period piece. And I think that that's pretty amazing. But it did bring in worldwide $90.3 million. So I think the old adage is you double your budget to add marketing and everything. And it got the Oscar push and all of that stuff, and I think that really gave it legs. But, you had ScarJo in there. You had Sam Rockwell, for crying out loud.
He was awesome, yeah.
Sam Rockwell is one of the most underrated actors to date.
Dude, totally.
I think he is so good in everything I've ever seen him in. He is amazing.
Even Iron Man 2.
Sure.
Still good.
I'm not saying it's not.
No, I'm saying he's good.
Yeah, no, he is one of by far my favorites, and he just kind of steals the show, and he seems like
kind of like Michael Shannon in that regard.
Yeah, Michael Shannon. But Michael Shannon, if you saw him in a particular movie, and in most of his movies, he just looks like, and if you believed he was his characters, you would think, oh man, he's like the most ruthless guy in the world, but he seems like a really nice guy when I see him in an interview. But Sam Rockwell looks like one of those guys you just kind of want to like hang out with, like you want to be a buddy, it seems like he'd be like the most fun guy to hang out with. So
yeah,
and he's pretty smart at that. So, but yeah, he had there was such a good cast in this movie. I think that he stole his scenes.
This was, you mentioned ScarJo. This is the first movie I've seen her in years that I wasn't
superheroes.
Well, yeah, but also like the scene, the dancing scene and stuff.
Yeah,
I was like, Oh yeah, I remember. She can act. Like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, she's actually a really good actress, and not to say she's not good in the Marvel movies, the few that
You
I've
know what
seen.
I mean, though. Like,
Yeah, no,
nuanced roles. Like, yeah,
I got you. Yeah, no, there's a little more depth to this role, and she's a mother,
and
things
I haven't seen Marriage Story either, so I'll preface
Really
with
good
that. I know she was supposed to be good in that.
Yeah, I didn't buy that on Criterion. But it came out, but I didn't buy it.
It's good.
But I think she's a good actress. But I was very taken aback by how good the children in this movie were. And I think that the children were so good on their own, but Taika Waititi had another child actor in Hunt for the Wilder People, and he was amazing too. So I'm thinking that he might just have some kind of like, it's just like, it was just amazing. And, you know, Yorkie, I don't want to take
every scene that Yorkie was in totally stole the show.
Yeah. I mean, that kid, he could have been straight out of a Harry Potter movie if you really think about it. But I just really, but also this movie was well received by the critics. If you give any kind of stake to what Rotten Tomatoes is, which it's kind of a hard thing to go by, but it's 80% over there. So I mean, but I think that you know, I think the movie was really good overall, and I think the big curveball with the mom was it kind of it actually, I knew something was coming, but it actually caught me off guard a little bit. You know, I didn't. It's not like I wasn't able
to. It's really yeah.
The shoes.
Wasn't he chasing a butterfly at that time? And he just kind of like wow. And that
they keep
kid,
if you go back and watch it, just like they focus on her shoes a lot. You know, in the movie.
There's like the scene where she's dancing up on the street.
Like where she's up on a little ledge. Yeah. And
she's got very specific.
There was something too. I think there was something too with the butterfly that had to do with her character, right? I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember the butterfly.
Well, the way I saw it was symbolism is he was being forced out of his cocoon, out of his not cocoon.
Yeah.
But he was being forced into a different life at that moment because his mom was no longer around. But I think they took such a subject matter that could be so hard to find comedy in, and they found comedy in it and made it hilarious.
Yeah.
But they didn't make it slapstick. What's the girl's name? Rumor Willis, is that her name?
Is
the blonde. The blonde.
Rumor Willis is Bruce Willis's daughter.
Is it? Rumor, whatever her name is. It's Rebel Wilson.
Oh, Rebel Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah,
So apparently that's what it was. Sorry, the butterfly is apparently symbolic of the Holocaust and the lives lost.
Okay. So I don't know about you guys, but do you guys find Rebel Wilson entertaining? Not just in this movie, ever?
Nope.
I liked her in, what was it? Bridesmaids. Was it Bridesmaids?
Yeah, I think she's
like the roommate.
Yeah.
She has the tattoo of the worm on her back or something.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I ever saw her and thought she was funny in that. But then she kind of fell into that trap, same trap as
Danny McBride.
Well, but I like Danny McBride.
That's what I'm saying.
He's one note, but
her was
he does his one note very well.
Right.
Yeah.
I think like she just kind of got overplayed with playing the same character and like trying to be outrageous and like what's the lady's name that was also like had her start in Bridesmaids?
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
She was in Gilmore Girls before that. Thank you very much. She was
that's
Suki St. James.
Place that I noticed her. And I liked her in that movie too. She was really funny, but then it just became, repetitive every other movie that she did.
You're canceled.
But I thought she was fine in this. I mean, I didn't dislike her. But here's the thing though, like for me, a lot of the like her comedy and even Taika's comedy didn't land for me. Like the stuff that I found funny was like JoJo's stuff and his friend. What's his name? His friend.
Yeah.
Yorkie.
Yeah. Like that stuff. And what's his face? Who we were just talking about?
Sam Rockwell.
There were a couple scenes with Taika where I was like, it's pretty fun. And it was real simple stuff, like when he's running through the woods at the beginning next to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of the one-liners didn't really land for me.
I think okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question. Everybody here's seen Inglourious Bastards, right? Okay.
See.
So Inglourious Bastards or Jojo Rabbit's depiction of Hitler, which one do you prefer? Because they both make him look like a buffoon.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one, honestly. Just because he's used as so much more of a device than in the other one.
he's an imaginary friend in this one, yeah. Brandon, what about yourself?
I'd probably agree. I mean, Hitler in Inglourious Bastards it's not a huge focal point.
Right.
But more of like, oh, look at that jerk.
But you're gonna.
I like the way he went out in Inglourious Bastards.
They just demolishes. But the 999 thing, 999, that thing,
which is not even in the movie.
Yeah, but that is what everybody quotes.
Yeah, it's in the trailer.
It's just like Casablanca, and there's a bunch of movies where people misquote movies or think something's there.
Yes.
So, but I did like Taika in this. I didn't think everything landed, but I did think that the turn when the kids started seeing Hitler in a different light and started befriending the Jewish girl. I thought Elsa, I think her name was. I thought that was very well done, and I didn't think it was like abrupt. I thought it was a good gradual change of heart, like a good arc, so to speak. But yeah, I thought the most captivating scene in the movie was her hanging in the street, and
I think that one was. I mean, it was such a and that's what's hard about this type of movie is
gut punch.
Right. It's the subject matter itself. I mean, that had to have been a tough task to pull off. And obviously you're treating the whole thing as like an outlandish thing, which it was, but there's so much sensitivity around the Holocaust, and to be able to create a movie like this where you inject humor into that situation, do it tastefully, but also use scenes like that to really kind of reel it back in and
show the stakes.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Now this movie was based on a book called Caging Skies by Christine Lunens.
Did not know that.
And actually, Taika got Best Adapted Screenplay for the Oscars last year. So the funny story is, I saw Taika do a interview about this. He said that he was talking to his mom on the phone, and she was talking about a book she was reading, and it was Caging Skies. And on her suggestion, he read half of the book before he started writing the movie. So it's loosely based on that book. So don't know if he ever finished the book or what, but the book is kind of it basically gave him the idea of a kid that wanted to go to a camp and had a Jewish girl in the basement, in the attic. And that's kind of where he just kind of took it from there and made, I think he's the one, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's the one that kind of came up with Hitler's his imaginary friend. You know what I mean? So,
Gotcha.
But I don't know. I'm interested in reading that book now. I'll say that. I mean, it's not very often that a movie makes you want to go out and read the book that it's based on, but well, it is somewhat often. But that really made me want to do that. So I'm going to try to locate that book. But yeah, I just thought that everybody that put time into this movie looked like they cared. Looked like it kind of felt like all the story beats were there. I don't think there were. I'm sure there were some because
it was paced really well.
Yeah, it paced really well. It wasn't slapstick comedy. It wasn't a Will Ferrell movie. At the end of the day, it could have easily been a Will Ferrell type, like just that type of humor. But I mean, I don't know. Did this movie? So Ryan, you haven't seen Hunt for the Wilder People, but Brandon, you have, and do you feel? Ryan, you've seen Thor Ragnarok though. Do you feel like maybe Taika kind of took a turn, like we were talking about, into more of a film director versus just a movie director? Because there's a difference. Movie directors just kind of go in there and they're just kind of used pieces, like Brett Ratner. That's a movie director. Yeah, I said it.
Can't say his name. He's canceled.
Everybody's canceled. But anyway, do you guys think he took a turn, or do you think others were better?
He's got. I mean, out of the 4 movies that I've seen of his, or movies, films, whatever, they all have a similar like comedic style, but as far as like visual sense and just aesthetic, they're very different movies.
Yeah, I think for this one, like you kind of said, I think that he's definitely got kind of a comedic aesthetic that he imprints on all of his movies. But you also, I think he's Jewish, so I'm sure that this story had some personal relevance to him that kind of
Taika's Jewish.
Inspired him.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know.
I think
I know he's either from or just maybe grew up.
He describes
in New
himself
Zealand.
as a Polynesian
He's from New Zealand,
Jew.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
His
grandfather is of Russian Jewish heritage.
Yeah. Yeah, and one thing he said in that interview was that I believe he's from a single mom household, so
Makes sense.
he was excited to see the mom not be a mom, a TV or a movie mom or whatever,
sure,
to where she's just a mom,
So I'm sure that the story spoke to him in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I'm glad they didn't beat you over the head with that. Like, some of the movies nowadays, they try to beat you over the head with their messages and things like that. And I think his message was subtle enough, but it got the point across. I mean, I'm from a single mom household, and, yeah, sure, I saw the mom as a strong character, but I thought Scarlett Johansson did a really good juggling act or balancing act of being like when she smeared the soot across her face and was the beard and the dad and everything and things of that nature. I thought that she did a really good job of just going in and out of that. Like, when you're, from my understanding, or just from watching my mom, you're a single mom, you're kind of scared that things aren't going to turn out, but you got to put on a happy face. You got to sit there and you got to be good in front of the kids, so the kids don't see the cracks and they just think like everything's fine. And I thought she did a good job of pushing that narrative forward.
That scene was crazy. She like used the strength of the would-be father to like express her vulnerability.
Yeah,
which was kind of a weird juxtaposition.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I was kind of nervous. I thought it was about to become a musical. I thought it was about to be a musical number. I was like, what? No.
Shia LaBeouf.
No. Yo, four, that wasn't a. I thought that's what was going to come. I was like, oh no, I just could hear Dick Van Dyke. So, yeah, I just knew like mice and stuff were going to start sweeping across the floor and just have a whole dance number about.
Ika's
Nazi
in the background.
Germany. Yeah, it's just I was just kind of nervous, and I was glad they went where they went. I also want to talk about the Elsa. She was a very good actress.
Yep.
She did a really good job of balancing.
All of the accents were really good in this movie too.
Well, yeah, Stephen Merchant talked about how he had a hard time because he improvises a lot, and he stuck to the script as much as he could. But he said Sam Rockwell kind of said the same thing. He said that when you come in and you have to learn an accent, it's kind of a second job in and of itself. You have to learn the accent, you have to go to the accent coach and things like that. And I think Sam Rockwell is a bit method. They said that he was always in character so that he wouldn't lose the accent. But then, you have to be nice to people and things like that. And German's kind of a harsh language.
Sure.
So, I agree. The dialect coaches did a really good job, and everybody did a good job of sounding like they're from the same region, even, not just generic German. Like how some people do Southern voices, and they're like, "I boy, what's going on?" It's like, "I'm Alabama."
I know Brandon loves that.
Well, I mean, I'm from the South as well, but it's just like, good Lord, like you can tell when you're from a particular region.
I always think of Hacksaw Ridge with Andrew Garfield. Help me get one more. Help me get one more.
It's just, they all think that, that all Southerners sound exactly the same, but every single...
We all talk like this.
We all talk like we got a mouthful of rocks.
So I won't bash it, but Logan Lucky, it kind of varies between...
See, I like that one, though.
See, some of them are good, but I feel like not all of them are
right. Well, Soderbergh is from Atlanta, so I kind of give him a bit of a pass for directing them that way, and not correcting them. So, but yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, I'm sure if you have any kind of German heritage or whatever, you can tell the different dialects that we can't tell. But from my standpoint, it sounded all regional, so it was really good. Yeah. I thought that the way that Sam Rockwell and his right-hand man / lover or whatever,
seemingly,
I thought they did that as with, again,
the shot of the costume, the completed costume.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm kind of, I understand that people have to do this because they want to get clicks and everything, but I'm just going to ask you guys, were you guys confused by the ending of this movie at all? Did you not understand what happened? I have a point. If
no, I mean,
I don't think so.
So I kept seeing all over YouTube, the ending of Jojo Rabbit explained.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. I was looking through stuff earlier today, and I was seeing a lot of that too.
Who needs to explain the ending of this movie? It was a very good ending, but it was so cut and dry.
I don't see any question marks at the end of this movie.
Stop trying to get clicks. And if you're dumb enough to not understand the end of this movie, stop listening to this podcast. So I'm just saying, it's like, I just don't understand. Like they'll have, like, I seriously saw a video, like the ending of Trolls World Tour explained, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I haven't seen that movie, but I'm pretty sure that movie's geared to, like, what, 8 and under? I don't know. But it seems like it would be pretty cut and dry. But I mean, there are some movies that get a little heady.
I mean, there's some that are, you can see that, but this one,
no. Yeah, this movie, as good as it was, the ending was a good ending. It was uplifting.
I couldn't even think of any open plots, or
I kind of want to. I mean, I don't want to click on that video to watch it because I don't want
to give them the views.
I don't want them to think like, man, I'm really doing a good job at this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see how many views that video has, because I can't understand how many people don't understand the end of this movie.
I can just see. Well, I can see people being like, "Why'd she slap him?" What did he do?
Yeah. Oh my God.
He lied to her, guys. That's what I was going to say is I loved that he did lie to her because he didn't want her to leave. He knew that if he told her it was over, that she would leave and he'd be completely alone.
That was one of the cool, like, grounded elements of the movie was like at the end of the day, like he's just this little kid.
Right.
Like as much as the facade that he puts on.
Okay, so
like even the letter when he was reading the letters and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
so
he also said that
the ending video, the Jojo Rabbit Explained ending explain. That's just the Jojo Rabbit Explained period. That's 11,000 views. And
shoot, we need to do that. Let's talk about how
let's talk about the ending. Hey, if you're dumb enough,
so confusing, guys.
Yeah, so confusing. So
what's even happening there?
Like when he goes outside, it means that like he's opening his like mind to the world. Like just come up with a bunch of garbage that makes no sense. That's like in when I used to live out in LA, I had this shirt that said "Oh no 40," right? And I got it from like Goodwill, and it just meant "Oh no, I'm 40." But I was going into a, and I was like 19 at the time or whatever. I just bought a shirt because it was comfortable, and I was walking into like a music store, and this guy stops me. Hey man, come here, man. I got to talk to you about that shirt, man. I was like, all right. He goes, you know what that shirt means? I was like, in my head, I was like, yes, I do. But on the outside, I was like, no, man, why don't you tell me? He goes, and he starts coming up with math equations. Like I'm talking about, I don't even know if his math was right. It was like long math equations, and it was all like in the air. He was writing with his finger in the air and stuff like that. And he just kept like, and then you're gonna do this, and then it's gonna be you multiply that, and you're gonna bring this over, and that's what it means, man. That's what it means. I was like, all right, you have a good day. I think that guy was out of his mind, and I think that the people that do this are trying to get clicks, but I think they're also out of their mind. So come at me.
Come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro. I ain't scared. But anyway, I enjoy this movie. So guys, I guess is there anything else you guys want to say about Jojo Rabbit?
Well, not to kind of bury the lead, but I would say buy it. Buy it.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question, but yes. Yes, buy it because Disney might try to burn everything pretty soon. So they're going to try to take over the world.
Especially a movie about Nazis.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
You know what's crazy is, when we were having our little text chain, I couldn't find, I wanted to do a Heil Hitler Jojo Rabbit gift to send to you guys. You can't find one. You can't.
Somebody's got you on tape now saying that, so just say somebody's gonna make that into a phone
from the movie.
We're gonna have to expedite this sports podcast out.
Yeah, it's like Sports Machine coming to you soon.
One episode in.
Hey guys, send your mail to P.O. Box Brandon Duncan,
Ralston,
in the middle of
Georgia. He'll get it.
No, I thought. Oh, by the way, one of the funniest things I saw in the behind the scenes was while Taika was directing, he had to have a barrette in his hair to hold his Hitler do back, so to hold it in place. So it was just really funny, and it's really funny to watch Hitler look through a screen and like point and stuff like that. Like, you go over there, and you go over there. So I just thought it was really funny, but yeah, I thought it was all in good fun and thought it was tastefully done. So I would agree. I think this is a total purchase. I would even say that this might be one that if they put out a special edition, you might even need to, rebuy it if they put any crazy good special.
This one's definitely worth owning.
Yeah, sure. I think so.
In some form.
Yeah.
Preferably physical media.
Yeah. Do the physical, yeah.
Do it.
Ciao, brah.
You get a digital, you got your digital. That's your convenience, but you'll always have that physical.
Even if you buy it physical used.
Once the world ends, Like it looks like it's going to.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want that physical media. Get you a generator. You're going to want to get a generator. You're going to want to stock up on food, water.
Mm-hmm. You can always watch a Blu-ray from your bunker.
They have caskets with TVs in them now, so I'm pretty sure you can watch it for eternity. I have no idea why. That's another thing I don't understand, but that's for a whole other podcast.
Well, Brandon, I guess we know we'll be able to put BVS on loop when we
go.
People are going to be walking.
Got to put that in my will.
People are going to be walking by your grave to go see their grandmother or something like, I hear voices from the grave. Mama?
Ding, 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 ding.
Don't call me Martha. So anyway, well, yes, I agree. Buy it. Very good movie. Taika Waititi. I look forward to everything. You know what? I don't care for the underwear movies, but I did like Thor Ragnarok. I thought he even turned that into more of a Taika movie than a Marvel movie, you know, and he actually made Thor entertaining.
It was definitely stylized. It was different.
Yeah.
I would say that was definitely different from.
And the character that he played in the movie,
yeah.
that was funny, and he always throws his little spin in there. So I do think that Taika is a real filmmaker. I think that he's going to continue. And if you haven't seen Hunt for the Wilder People, I highly recommend you go see that as well. I mean, go see his whole catalog. And I think his wife produces his movies too. So he's kind of got a Christopher Nolan thing going. So that's pretty cool.
You mean Zack Snyder? Is that what you're talking about?
Christopher Nolan's. Well, I was talking about somebody that makes good.
movies. Zack Snyder's wife also produces.
Yeah, we thought you said visionary director. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I didn't say visual effects artist. I said director. So
what visionary?
Anyway. No, look.
Shut it down.
Filmmaking master.
All right, everybody. Before my freckles pop off of my face from anger, I want to thank you for coming by CiNEMACHiNE. Make sure you like and subscribe. Tell your friends about it. And we will make sure that we review better and better movies over time. Get us on Twitter and tell us what you would like for us to review. Have us argue over if it's a comic book movie. Make sure you catch CiNEMACHiNE podcast and Capecast, Cupcast coming soon with sports. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm going to be doing a podcast.
Pretentious Cast.
I haven't named it yet, but it is going to be about throwback movies.
You're guaranteed to be depressed.
Cult cast. So I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but
I'll start with a C apparently. So
yeah, apparently we're CCCCC. So anyway, so thanks for stopping by, Brandon, Ryan. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having us, Al.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll turn off the Zoom now. No, thanks everybody. This was fun, and we kept it in the ballpark.
Look at that. Yeah.
All right.